Hello guys, here with another part to What If Naruto Had Storm release. I hope you enjoyed. Anko's bedroom. Next morning, we find our blonde hero in a position many men of the village would kill for just to even be in for a little nap. Naruto has his head on the chest of Anko Materashi with a stupid smile on his face and a hand on her left breast. This was the best sleep I've ever had, and when did I get new pillows? They feel so soft and firm. Let me feel it again. Squeeze. A moan followed. Since when did pillows make noise? Better yet, it sounded like a moan. Naruto-kun, I didn't know you were so grabby so early in the morning. His eyes widened in horror as he remembered the events of last night. He shot up like a man possessed, eyes still wide with a red face. Anko-san, I am sorry, I didn't mean to grab your holy objects you call breast, I mean your soft chest. I mean, he was cut off by the laughter of the woman in bed with nothing but a white tank top that could barely keep her chest hidden and purple panties. Plushie-kun, you don't have to be so formal with me, just call me Anko-chan, okay? Oh okay, he says, still red face from her state of dress. Anko-chan, why do you live in this dangerous forest and not in the village like everyone else? He asked with a tilt of his head that reminded her of a fox kit and made her want to put his head in her breast again. Well, that's because I'm just like you in a way. The village also hates me and doesn't accept me, so I've just moved in here and only invite my little friends that I have here, she replies with a sad smile that makes his heart clench. But why? You seem like a nice person to me, although you may be a little crazy and lack clothes, the blonde says, blushing at her body again. Anko can't help but give him a smile at his answer. We just met and I all but kidnapped him and he still says I'm a nice person. Ha, stupid little Gaki. They hate me because of a seal like you, something my old teacher Orochimaru gave me, she said with clear anger. That makes Naruto notice a mark on her shoulder. Is this the mark you are talking about? He says, pointing at it. This makes Anko place a hand over it in defense. Naruto sits next to her on the bed and gives her a smile that warms her heart. Anko-chan, I will help you get rid of it, just let me take a look at it and try to help you. Anko moves her hand to give him a look. And he recognizes it as a seal, but that's all he knows. Anko-chan, I promise that I will get better at seals and beat that snake shit up for you, then I'll unseal it and then you won't have to live with it anymore, he says with raw determination. This caused the pineapple hair woman to smile warmly at our blonde. Well, thank you Gaki, if you do that I'll give you a reward you are sure to remember. This causes Naruto to blush, but he does something bold. Well, I better get to it if I want that reward, he says with a wink that makes Anko blush and surprised at the same time. But she regains her composure and smiles devilishly. Ah, Naruto-kun, am I rubbing off on you already, she says, pushing his head in her breast and whispers in his ear. Which makes him shiver in pleasure, fright, and excitement. Anko-chan, I think you are, but I kind of like it, he says, smiling at her. That's my plushie, fall onto the dark side with me, she says, rubbing against his cheek. They both have a good laugh at that. Okay Anko-chan, let's get up and eat and then you can train me, he says, getting up only to blush at his state of dress. Where are my pants and why am I still shirtless? Anko can only sweat drop. He just now notices that, what a baka, Anko thinks with a sweat drop. Your clothes are being washed and why would I train you? Well, you are pretty strong, I can sense it, and I want to learn under the great snake lady of the forest. Actually, it's the sexy and single Anko Materashi, she says with her hands in the air and a grin on her face. Oh, I see, should I come up with a cool intro as well? That way everyone can know how cool I am. Yes, you should. It's something we will work on while I train you, she says, nodding her head like a great sage would. So that means you will train me, Anko-chan. That's so cool, he says, giving her a big smile and a hug. Oh, Naruto-kun, you can't keep your hands off me, can you? She says in a teasing tone. Naruto blushes and hides in her breast, causing her to laugh at him. We find the dynamic duo out in the forest of death getting ready to train till the sun goes down. Okay, we will train until you go back to the academy for your team selection, and then your sensei will help you with the rest. She says, a little sad but trying to hide it with her smile, but Naruto picked up on it and saved it for later. Okay, Anko-sensei, he says finally, in clothes but not, as he is wearing black jogging pants with black ninja sandals and a white tank top and a tan trench coat, just like Anko, much to her happiness. Okay, plushie, make 10 clones and send them to the library under Henge and have them focus on seduction, stealth, combat, and torture. Another 10 to climb trees and have them practice tree walking. I saw you did it yesterday, but that was because you were under pressure. I want it perfect. How do you know the secret to the shadow clones? It was in the scroll of sealing. A bastard Orochimaru maybe, but a good teacher he was, she says with reluctancy. Now me and you will spar until one of those clones brings back a scroll for taijutsu you may like. Okay, Anko-sensei, shadow clone jutsu. A puff of smoke and 20 clones were in the clearing. You heard the lady, let's get to it, he shouts at copies of himself. Yes, boss, and off the clones were. What now, Anko-sensei? He turns to her with a raised eyebrow. Now you and I will fight, she says, releasing Jonin levels of ki at him, which makes him sweat a lot. Why are you releasing that much ki at me? It's to let you know I'm serious and get you used to this, because when you fight with other ninjas they are going to release much more because they will be coming to kill you. He shakes his head and hardens his gaze, getting ready to train seriously. Okay, Anko-sensei, I am ready to get this started, he says with cold blue eyes and electrified voice, which gives Anko shivers of what she has no idea. Without wasting any time they charge at each other. Naruto throws a straight punch that Anko dodges easily and hits him in the ribs hard, making him wince. But that does not stop him. He turns, aiming a hook to her left side, but she ducks down and rises up and gives him an uppercut, sending him in the air, and she jumps after him and gives him a falling dropkick, which he barely evades. Wow, Anko-sensei, that hurts, and you're really fast. I can barely see you, he says with a busted lip and dirt on his face and clothes. Anko gives him a foxy smile and says, well, I am a special Jonin and I didn't get here just because of how good I look, she replies with pride in her voice. But I am not even going all out on you, should be able to get by with me at this speed. She says, falling in her Hebe style, and Naruto drops into a style with his left hand to his nose and right hand hovering over his stomach and legs spread. Then Naruto charges at her with a speed of that of a high chunin and hits that sting a little to her skin. He comes in with a right leg kick, but she blocks and swings him over to a tree, but he flips in midair and bounces off the tree back at her with a cocked back right fist. They clash, and a small shock wave that blows their hair and ruffles the leaves on the trees a bit. Not bad, Gaki, you put some strength behind that one, Anko replies with a grin. One that Naruto matches. Well, these muscles came from somewhere. I did a lot of physical activity in my free time, he replies with that smirk that looks like a fox, but little does he know a giant red eye with a black slit is watching behind a cage. After the clash, the two jump back and run at each other again. Anko throws a left punch and Naruto blocks with his right elbow, only to have to block a right hook with his left elbow left. He throws a high right kick, but she blocks and they both jump back to gain space. only to run at each other again and clash punches, but it is broken by a clone of Naruto who swings at Anko, but she dodges to the left and throws a left kick and dispels it. Only for the real Naruto to fly in with a hammer fist to knock her down, but she sidesteps and throws a barrage of kicks that all at Naruto and leave him on the ground gasping. Not bad Naruto-kun, but dodge these hidden Shadow snake hands. A bunch of snakes come out of her sleeves and aim at Naruto with fangs showing. He quickly jumps up and shots a blast of lightning from his hands and it zaps the snakes away, but he was too slow to react to Anko behind him, who hits him to the ground. "Man, this is going to be a long day," he says with a grin on his bloody face. It's midday and we can see Naruto laying on the ground without a shirt thanks to his sadistic teacher who burned his trench coat and white tank top off with a fireball jutsu. Trees on the ground thanks to the giant snakes that chased him around, with Anko laughing on top of it, throwing snakes and kunai at him and even threw her wet panicks at him that landed on his face. She apparently got off to making him suffer. Anko even kicked him through a couple of trees that broke a couple of bones. Anko-sensei, I can't move. I think I broke my legs when I fell out of that tree because those snakes tried to bite me, Naruto says in a hurting tone. Don't worry Naruto-kun, I'll carry you to my favorite place so we can eat, she says, throwing him over her shoulder much to his irritation. So are we going to get the food of the gods, he says happily. Yup, Anko says, in a cheery tone. Ramen. Dango. Naruto-kun, you did not just say that, did you? She says in a sweet tone, with a ghostly giant snake appearing behind her with its fangs out, causing Naruto to make his own inner beast to appear in the form of a giant red fox to appear with its teeth showing. This is the scene one Kurenai Yuhi shows up to see, causing her to sweat nervously. Kurenai is a close friend of Anko and also has the nickname of Konoha's Ice Queen. She is a fair-skinned woman of a slender build. She has long black hair, untamed hair reaching her upper back, with unique ruby red eyes with rings in them that look like tomoe. She wears makeup consisting of red lipstick and purple eyeshadow. She wears what looks like bandages over a mesh shirt to cover up her D-cup breast and one red sleeve made for distracting enemies. Anko-chan, this shout knocks the two out of their trance. Oh hello Nai-chan, Anko says with a happy smile. What are you doing with a shirtless kid in the forest of death, she says, looking at Naruto, who gives her a foxy smile. Oh, don't mind us Nai-chan, me and Anko were just getting hot and sweaty, he says to Kurenai, who raises her eyebrow at his way of talking to her. Until what he says clicks in and she gives him a glare and releases ki on him. What do you mean getting hot and sweaty, you pervert? But to her surprise the ki does nothing to him and he looks over to a blushing Anko. Anko-chan, tell her, he says, still grinning. Don't say it like that, you baka, Anko says with a light dust of pink on her cheeks and smacks him upside the head because he's still over her shoulder. Anyways, we were about to go eat dango, the food of the gods, sends a glare at Naruto telling him to be quiet. Do you want to come with us Nai-chan? This causes Naruto to make a lighting whip he learned how to make while running for his life from the giant snakes and smacks Anko's butt with it, which makes her eep and blush, then send a glare at him. Ah yes, but Anko, why does this kid who is only 13 have a lighting affinity so strong? I don't know. Hey, let's test it with chakra paper. Do you have any? Anko asked Giddy. Yes I do, I picked some up for my future genin team, but I guess I can spare one, she says, sweat dropping at her friend's antics. With that said, she pulls one out and hands it over to Anko, who snatches it away, making a tick mark appear on the woman's head. Okay Naruto-kun, just channel your chakra into this and we will see what happens after that, she says, putting him down off her shoulder. Naruto-kun, these two seem pretty close after they just met. Well, not surprised they are so similar, it's like they were made for each other. Okay, Anko-sensei, with that said, he did just that and it shocks everyone at what they see. The paper split into 100 pieces which then crumbled up into small balls and then they all turned to water which formed a large puddle at their feet. Dot. Dot. Is that supposed to happen? Naruto asked uncertain. We have to go show the Hokage that a reaction like this can only mean a bloodline, said Kurenai with wide eyes. With that said, they all body flicker to the Hokage office. Old man, guess who's back? Naruto said, appearing with two companions in a body flicker. Show some respect, you perverted brat. Kurenai hits him over the head which makes a huge bump appear over his head. Ow, what's your problem, Nai-chan? Why are you so uptight? You need to get laid, he yells at her. A tick mark appears on her head with a face red from anger or embarrassment. You little brat, she says and proceeds to beat the already injured Naruto black and blue. Huff, what does he know about getting laid, little pervert? Everyone's sweat drops at the scene. Cough, Hokage-sama, we have important news to share with you, the snickering Anko says. What would that be, Anko? The laughing Hokage says. We believe Naruto-kun has a bloodline, Anko says, getting a little bit more serious. Oh, you mean his storm release? Yes, we saw this yesterday, but we did not have any chakra papers, so I just guessed what it was and I must be correct. Yes, Hokage-sama, we tested his affinity and the paper was cut in 100 pieces, formed into small balls and then formed a large puddle, Kurenai said with surprise, still in her tone. Wow, his water affinity is stronger than that of Tobirama-sensei. Naruto-kun, you are truly amazing. Maybe I should give him his parents' scrolls and he can learn his mother's water jutsu and kinjutsu style along with his father's wind jutsu. Naruto-kun, you have the bloodline storm release. It is a very powerful bloodline that with enough control you can cause mass storms. It is a combination of water and lighting natured chakra to make storm release. I got you, old man, I've already got a good handle on it, see, he says and makes a lightning whip and throws it at the bookcase and grabs a root anbu. Faster than Naruto can see, the old Hokage flashes to the anbu and jams a kunai in the anbu face mask, causing the body to slump over in Naruto's lighting whip and the body caught fire. That Danzo, I swear I'm going to kill him. Like Naruto-kun said, I need to get my act together, and Naruto must be a censor. Naruto-kun, can you use water chakra to put this fire out? The Hokage asks in a firm tone not matching his age. I don't know how to use water yet, the blonde says sadly. Just picture your chakra flowing like water and pushing through everything like a rampaging storm, the Hokage says while making a sign for his anbu to go. Okay, old man. Naruto then closes his eyes to focus. Then to everyone's shock, water starts to form around him and quickly drops on the burning anbu and soaks the body and everyone else. Ha, I did it, thanks, old man. Naruto pumps his fist up, unaware of the angry ruby-eyed woman approaching him from behind. Naruto-kun, would you please come here and let me talk to you, she says in a voice too sweet for his liking. Everyone see the death god appear behind her laughing. See you, old man, I have to run for my life, Naruto says, jumping out the window. But not before making a lighting whip and smacking the snake mistress on her ass, sending an electric shock up her body, causing her to run behind Kurenai with an angry face. Uzumaki, you get your ass back here. The two women scream with all their womanly fury.